friends, welcome back to my channel. Erika.tesla here. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping in and checking my channel out. I hope you decide to stay, so please consider subscribing. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. It really means a lot. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the Element 115 palette from Adept Cosmetics. Today is a little bit of a snow day situation at our house. I thought it would be really fun to show you guys some swatches of this palette and just do a look with this palette and just share some of my first impressions of it. But this is a beautiful palette. This is inspired by UFOs, guys. As you can see, it has just these out of this world colors. And we have, let's see, I'm gonna actually look it up on the website. So this is based off a New York Times article. I'm reading this off of the Adept website, entitled Glowing Auras and Black Money, the Pentagon's Mysterious UFO Program. And it also is inspired by interviews done by Bob Lazar from numerous UFO documentaries. This palette has 6 duochromes, 2 unique rainbow shimmers, 2 multi-dimensional shimmers, and 5 smooth, pigmented, and blendable mattes. So yes, here we have the palette for a total of 15 shades. These are absolutely stunning. And this is my first palette from Adept with the rainbow shades. I know they've come up with a highlighter palette that has this rainbow shade. So this was really interesting to swatch. I will throw up some swatches for you guys and I'll show you. Basically what I did was I kind of swiped horizontally across the shade and I pressed it onto my skin to try my best to preserve the rainbow structure, if you will, of the shade itself. But you can absolutely mix the colors together if that's what you want to do. I think it's kind of cool. In the inner corner here, I took a tiny brush and I took a little bit of the bottom of the shade Classified and put that in the inner corner. But the thing with makeup is that you are the one making up the rules, so you can apply it however you like. And I think it's pretty creative. I haven't seen anything quite like this, or maybe I have. You know what? I have seen the rainbow highlighters. Let me take that back. Remember there was a time when people did like the rainbow highlighters. There were a few brands that did that, and I feel like I haven't seen anything like that in a while. Not that it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean because I haven't seen it that it's not out there, but I think Adept has kind of brought that cool format back in their palettes and in some of their other products. So yeah, I think that it's really neat. So I'm really excited to have that style of shadow in my eyeshadow collection because I personally do not have anything quite like this. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some swatches of this palette. The way that I do my swatches is that I do have a stencil, and that is just a personal preference, but I just apply it to my bare skin. And in the case of these particular shadows, Adept does recommend, particularly with their shimmer and duochrome formulas, that it be applied with a finger. So what you're going to see is finger swipes of all of the shades, including the mattes, applied over a stencil that I actually designed myself for the purposes of swatching, and that way you can get an idea of some of the colors. What you're going to see next are the swatches of the palette, and then I'm going to show you guys a tutorial / demo using the palette, and then I'll hop into my final thoughts. Let's get into the next portion of the video. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit closer, and I'm gonna start with the matte blue shade here called Commander DF, and it's like this mid-tone kind of sky blue, and I'm gonna go in with my Angie Hot and Flashy A503 brush, and I'm gonna buff this all over the eyelid. think I have to tap it in. Let me tap this in. Tapping and buffing. And all I have on my eye, guys, is some concealer. Like, I didn't go in with any fancy primer or anything like that. But because, as I have mentioned many times before, I have texture on lids. So sometimes I pack the color in a little bit by tapping it in and then buffing it out. So I'm going to do that on both eyes. And it's building really nicely. This is a really pretty shade. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye and be back with the next shade. Okay, so I want to note that I went back in with the Commander DF shade with this brush from ColourPop. It's the E19, and I noticed that this color went on way more saturated with this brush in particular. It's a little bit smaller, and it kind of gets into the little crevices of my eye a little bit better. And I'm going to take the same brush and apply the color underneath as well. And I think I'm going to try the same tapping technique to see if I can get more color pay off. But it's building really, really nicely so far, and this is such a beautiful shade. Honestly, if you wanted to do like a cool retro look, like a 60s, 70s blue eyeshadow look, this shade would be absolutely perfect for that. I've seen some pretty cool looks with vintage blue eyeshadow looks. It's really, really pretty. Okay, so that's the blue, and I really, really like this blue. So I'm taking my Shadow Switch. This is a generic one. I know there's like the fancy one. Is it Vera Moda? I can't remember the brand's name that has this, but I find these Shadow Switch containers at like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. They're so expensive, and I've had them last for like years. So I really like that I can keep using the same brush without, you know, too much hassle. So anyway, I want to go in with like a deeper shade. I'm kind of stuck between Propulsion and Specimen, so I might start off with Propulsion, which is this kind of vibrant cornflower blue. It looks almost purple, and I'm going to just tap it on the inner and outer part of the lid. So I'm going to continue to use this ColourPop brush. I've discovered I really like using smaller brushes for eyeshadow looks. They just get in there really, really well. So I am blending, and I'm gonna also tap the shade on, and you can see that that really helps me to build up the color. This is such a neat color. That's really, really pretty. And I'm gonna take that and put it here as well on the inner lid. And I'm gonna try to control it. I don't wanna bring it up too high. And I'm gonna leave some negative space here and leave the original Commander DF shade alone, and just try to work the color on the inner lid and see how that goes. And I'll come back and clean it up and blend a little bit more. That's really pretty. Propulsion. Okay, now I'm gonna do that on the other side as well. So I'm going for sort of a halo eye, sort of. I think this is what it's gonna end up being, is like a halo eye look. But the great thing about this is it does not have to be absolutely perfect, because I am going to apply a shimmer And you can really see my lid texture here that's becoming very apparent. My lids are just getting a little wrinkly, and that's totally fine. I think the key is to just be more patient with yourself. Some of these looks take a little bit more time than they used to. It used to be a little bit easier for me to just slap some eyeshadow on and just get out the door. But when your skin starts to fold, there's more surface area that you're trying to get to in different ways. So it's just an adjustment, I will say. And I just turned 41 and I am adjusting to some of my skin changes. And it's not a bad thing. I'm grateful to be getting older, but at the same time, I am trying to adjust my makeup techniques accordingly because there are some looks that I still want to be able to do, but I want it to still come out flattering. Okay, so that's really, really pretty. And I'm gonna bring that on the bottom too. I think I have a smaller brush. Use this Morphe brush to take propulsion and place it down here to mimic the top part of the eye look. So I'm gonna bring some of that propulsion color onto the top and bottom. Not necessary, but I think it'll look nice. I think it looks really pretty. And this brush is tiny and it is getting into those little wrinkly, creviced areas. And I know it's harder to see on camera, so I'm not sure what your resolution is going to be. Some of you might be like, yes, I totally agree. You have texture, and some people are going to be like, what are you talking about? But you know how it is with like camera and lighting? Sometimes it doesn't always translate like what the subject is seeing versus what the viewer is seeing. So I'm just trying to get this color in here. And so now I think comes the most difficult choice, which is which of these shimmers to use. There are these really cool rainbow shimmers, but I think for this look, let's see, I think I'm gonna go with UAP, which is kind of purpley, and I think it'll be just like a really cool contrast. And I'm gonna just swipe that across the lid. I'm gonna put that across the lid like this. And that is stunning. It's kind of like a topper almost, the way I'm tapping it on. That is really, really pretty. And I still am getting some of the depth from the propulsion shade. And a little bit more highlight in the middle. I'm going to reinforce right here. And the way it's recommended that you apply Adept shimmers is with the fingers, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And I'm going to do the same thing on this lid. I'm going to tap it on the inner and outer corners and kind of really try my best to intensify it in the center. But I think this is really pretty and very easy. And I think with a smaller brush, I can go in and bring a little bit of that shimmer on the bottom if I want to. I'm kind of deciding. I don't know if I necessarily need to do that because this is pretty as is. And I might have to go in and clean up a little bit because I just smudged a little bit of it on the bridge of my nose. But that's really pretty. So I'm gonna do some liner. I have some blue liner that I think would be really pretty in the waterline, and lashes. But let's start with this blue liner. Okay, I'm gonna go in with some blue eyeliner. This is by Kylie Cosmetics. I think that looks really nice. That looks really nice. And I'm gonna try to see if I can like tight line a little bit with the blue as well. There we go. I've tight lined and water lined in the blue, and I'm going to do some mascara. I have really been enjoying the YSL Lash Clash mascara. It's really volumizing. It really brings out my eyelashes. And so sometimes I don't necessarily go for a false lash. I think I will for this look today. I do want to add a little oomph, but I love this mascara for me personally. And this was gifted, full disclosure, this was gifted by YSL. They sent it to me as part of a promotion they were doing for like their holiday release. And you know, some PR you just get like so excited about, and some you're like, you know, like it's exciting and you really appreciate it, but you kind of wonder, would this be a product I would buy if it wasn't sent to me? And this mascara, I would buy this. Even if YSL doesn't send this to me again, this would be something that I would personally repurchase. I really like it. It is so long wearing, and I've had really good luck with this mascara. I really like it. So that is the mascara, and that just really brings the look out. I think that's so pretty. Really, really nice. Semi-smoky, but like super easy glam. And I'm gonna put on some lashes and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I put on some very wispy, soft, delicate lashes because I really want the eyeshadow to take center stage in this look. And as you can see, I also added a little inner corner highlight, and they did that from inside this first rainbow shade. I did want to try to incorporate the rainbow shades a little bit into this look. This is the shade Classified, and I took a really little brush. This is just like a Beach Cosmetics brush, kind of from one of their past brush sets. And I just kind of dug in there, if you guys can see, and I just patted this. Okay, I want my camera to focus so you can see how pretty that goes on. Like, look at that. That could be a shade all on its own. Like, that is so pretty. And I don't know if inner corner highlights are cool or not anymore, but I like this. So I'm just kind of blending it into the rest of the look to kind of integrate. But that is really, really gorgeous. And the cool thing about the rainbow shades is that you can put them on all together, or if you want to do what I did and just take like a little tiny brush and get in one of the little color strips and apply it, that is an option too. But I really like how this look turned out. Let me know what you guys think. I am going to transition to my initial thoughts on this palette, and yeah, I will see you in the next segment. Okay, so I'm back after completing the first look with the Element 115 palette. I am really happy with how this turned out. It's really, really stunning, guys. Like, I went for these more blue tones here together, and it's just really, really pretty. I'm gonna have to stop looking at myself. It's really, really pretty. I really like how it came out, and I think that it's really easy to use. And as far as multi-chromes go, I think that it's nice to be able to just swipe a shade on with your finger. I'm not quite sure how wear time is gonna go yet. Like I said, I only put concealer as base. It is recommended that you use some kind of base that maybe has some tackiness to it if you really want to increase wear time and reduce creasing. But since I was just doing this for this look, I already had base makeup on. I just wanted to see how the colors look on, and I am pretty impressed. I'm not really surprised. Adept has quickly become one of my favorite indie brands. I have several of the palettes from the brand. There's a few that I don't have yet, but maybe it's just a matter of time before I end up with those too. But yeah, this is such a cool release. I got this around the holidays, and guys, when I tell you, I was just so busy with family stuff, activities. I got a little sick. I just had so much going on. So that's why you're seeing this 2023 palette being featured in 2024. But no matter, it's still a new palette to me. I've had it for just over a month, so it's still a baby palette in my collection. I'm really glad to have it. I think it's such a cool release. I do believe it's coming back in March, and you can sign up for notifications if you're interested in getting this one. I would personally recommend it just based off of my first impressions. So I'm gonna do some more looks with this palette, and that's my dog busting into the room to check on me if you heard a door open. So I'm gonna do some more looks with this palette and try to get even more of a feel for it, but I think initially I really, really like it. And I think that it's just like a really fun one. And I think if you're somebody who really enjoys colorful palettes, this is really nicely curated. It's cool mattes that are just really vibrant and very impactful. And of course, the shimmer formula is always going to be really, really fun. They do beautiful duochromes and multi-chromes at Adept, and I think that this palette is no exception. And I think for $65, that is a wonderful price point actually for a palette of this style. And as some of you who are makeup enthusiasts know, there are luxury brands charging way more for much more tame formulas, which if that's your thing, that is totally fine. But if you're someone who's looking for something really interesting, I think that this will be right up your alley. So first impressions, this is a thumbs up for me. I will definitely be digging into this a lot more. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments. So please be sure to leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of this look, what you think of this palette. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy content like this, and please consider subscribing to my channel. It really means a lot to me, and I would love to have you join my little makeup corner here on YouTube. With that being said, thank you guys so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to hang out with me. It really means a lot, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!